Next on the news. The Catholic Church has a message in the wake of Trump's assassination attempt. Stop political violence now. The National Eucharistic Congress kicks off soon. How the Diocese of Brooklyn is preparing for the event. Plus, they are carrying on a more than century-old tradition. The Giglio once again gracing the skies of Williamsburg.
The way you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with the feast and the Giglio.
I'm Christine Persichetti. Current News starts right now. The United States is still reeling from the aftershocks of Saturday's assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. The shockwaves even reaching the Vatican. The Catholic Church is speaking out, saying political violence needs to end. Current News' Jessica Easthope joins us now with more. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Christine. The world took a pause for a moment on Saturday, and in the days since, citizens, politicians, and religious officials have had to reset a bit, seeing just how hostile the discourse in our country has become and asking how we can reverse a dangerous trend. Take a look.
37 votes, President Trump.
Former President Donald Trump Monday officially named the GOP presidential nominee at the Republican National Convention just 2 days after surviving an assassination attempt.
Take a look at what happened.
Saturday, in a field in Butler, Pennsylvania, a shot and chaos. President Trump grazed by a bullet that was less than an inch from being fatal. The Holy See uniting in prayer with U.S. bishops. Church officials across the country, including Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan, swiftly condemned the violent act.
We have to condemn violence in every form. Violence that afflicts our nation in so many ways. At the same time, we have to condemn the divisions and the rhetoric that raises the level of hatred.
Meanwhile, as tens of thousands of pilgrims are expected to converge on the National Eucharistic Congress in Indiana, Chairman Bishop Andrew Cozzens released his own statement on the shooting, saying, quote, "We feel privileged to gather in prayer at a time with our Eucharistic Lord when our country and our world need this peace which comes only from Him. We will pray for healing of all divisions in our land and an end to violence." The nation reacting to an assault on the former president and our democratic process. But the family of Corey Comparatori, a Christian and retired firefighter fatally wounded in the shooting, is in mourning. Comparatori was killed while shielding his wife and 2 daughters from the gunfire. Bishop David Zubik of the Diocese of Pittsburgh, where the shooting took place, commending his actions, saying, quote, "Corey Comparatori's selfless act in the face of danger speaks to his strength of character, deep faith, and dedication to serving others. On behalf of the Diocese of Pittsburgh, I extend my condolences to his family and loved ones. We join in prayer that they may feel wrapped in the comfort and love of Jesus." The shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, was killed by Secret Service snipers shortly after President Trump was hit. And Christine, the FBI, as we know, is still investigating a possible motive.
Jess, what more can you tell us about the victim who was killed, Corey Comparatori?
Christine, we know that the 50-year-old husband and father of 2 was a devoted Christian, never missed church on Sunday. He, after the shooting, his daughters on Facebook said that they are living a real-life nightmare without him. Comparatori was excited to be at that rally, and his daughter Allison went on to say that her dad was a man of God, loved Jesus fiercely, and looked after his community at church as well as their family. And as we know, he was shielding his wife and daughters from that shooting when that fatal bullet hit him.
So devastating. Jess, thanks so much. We'll be praying for him.
Thank you.
And looking more into that victim, Corey Comparatori, he's being described as a real-life superhero. He had just hit his 30-year mark with the Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Department. He even served as a chief for a few years, but his dedication to his family made Corey take a step back. According to his LinkedIn, he was a project and tooling engineer at a manufacturing company. The National Eucharistic Congress kicks off on Wednesday, and organizers say the more than 50,000 people planning to attend the event should feel safe inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Bishop Andrew Cozzens, the chairman of the board of the Congress, says they have been planning for a safe and secure event for years. The Congress has retained a nationally recognized security firm that is working with local, state, and federal law enforcement and intelligence agencies. Around 200 pilgrims from the Diocese of Brooklyn are currently packing their bags for the Congress. Courtesy's Katie Vasquez caught up with some of them in Greenpoint.
We are days away from the National Eucharistic Congress happening in Indianapolis. About 200 people from the Diocese of Brooklyn are expected to be in attendance, sharing their faith in prayer with others from across the country. Roughly 25 people from San Damiano Mission here in Greenpoint are expected to be in attendance, and they're already getting ready because they're so excited to be there and share in the full slate of the schedule of prayer, the Eucharist, confession, all the speakers that are expected to be there, and they are actually packing right now. You can see the bags are all packed. We have some clothes here, and a few of them are actually adding their Bibles and rosary beads because they want to be fully prepared for this amazing once-in-a-lifetime kind of event that's going to be happening in Indianapolis. And I'll have the full story on Tuesday, so you can check it out on Currents News. In Greenpoint, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Like Katie mentioned, she will be in Indianapolis for the National Eucharistic Congress. She'll be checking in with the Brooklyn pilgrims, showing us the exhibits and attending sessions. Just be sure to tune into Currents News all this week for continuing coverage. Meanwhile, the man who destroyed statues outside of Queens Church has been charged with a hate crime. Prosecutors say Jamshed Chowdhury is the man in this surveillance video smashing a statue of Jesus outside of Holy Family Church in Fresh Meadows. If convicted, Chowdhury could face up to 15 years in prison. Finally tonight, Giglio Sunday sees thousands descend on the streets of Williamsburg in front of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church. The tradition, the faith, and the feast that brings them together have people retracing their steps back through time. Courtesy's Jessica Easthope has the story.
Stepping lightly with 4 tons on your shoulders is no easy feat. Anthony Veruza has been doing it for 50 years.
You can't explain it. The way you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with the feast and the Giglio, and that's what it is.
But what these Giglio lifters carry is much more than weight. Carrying on this century-old tradition is up to them. This year's #1 capo, Danny Vecchiano, has been part of this feast his entire life. And on Sunday, he made his debut as lead conductor of an orchestra of more than 120 lifters.
This is a lifetime worth of preparation and excitement. The folks that are not only with me now, but the folks that are going to come after me are going to do great things moving forward.
Now for a quick history lesson by some of Giglio Sunday's youngest.
They started the feast in Nola, Italy, and then they brought it here to create happiness. It's mostly about Italian and God. It's really hard to lift, so a lot of the older men lift it.
Ahead of the festivities and lifts of the 72-foot Giglio and the boat of St. Paulinus, who the feast is in honor of, there was an annual mass.
There is not a community that celebrates its Brooklyn roots, its Italian heritage, more than Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Monsignor Jamie Gigantiello, pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, echoed a theme of family and getting back to your roots of not just heritage, but devotion.
Getting back to our roots is not just remembering, but really taking what we have learned from our parents and grandparents, what our faith teaches us, and to really put that into action and try our best to live it every day.
Then what many wait all day for, when the Giglio and boat dance in unison. And for just a moment, the front lifters on each structure join hands, symbolizing St. Paulinus' return to Nola, Italy. A lot has changed in 137 years, but what hasn't is the Giglio is at home in Brooklyn. In Williamsburg, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
It's a sight to see, and if you missed Giglio Sunday, you can still see a Giglio lift. The tower will dance under the stars on Wednesday, July 17th. That happens at 7:30. There will also be an old-timers lift on Sunday, July 21st at 2 p.m. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.